What's up, nerds? So this is my twin brother Marlon, and we are doing this. Hey, Marlon, we're doing the Mandalorian episode 6 review, and this one was called the. Shoot, I didn't write down the title, Marlon. It was called the sac. No, it's not called the sacrifice. It doesn't even matter. Anyways, the debacle. That's what it should have been called. I mean, the episode. What did you think about this episode?
I loved it. This is the best episode of the season.
I loved it too. It's not my favorite episode. I didn't think it was the best episode, but I really loved it too.
You're thinking wrong.
Well, I really loved that Ahsoka Tano, and then like the one before that where they destroy that. I can't decide. Like I'm flipping. Like it's so hard. You know, when we do our season 1 review, it's gonna be. Well, that's one of the questions you're gonna have to answer is which is your favorite episode and everything. And I'm all like, it's so hard. It's so hard. So we start off the episode where the Razor Crest is headed to that planet, Tython.
Sure.
Tython. It's Tython. I have it right here in my notes. It was just so they head to Tython, and Mando is on the ship, and he wants the ball from Baby Yoda or Grogu. I'm just gonna call him Baby Yoda because I can't get used to Grogu right now.
Because Grogu's a dumb name.
I don't like it. People online are like, I like it. It's growing on me. I'm like, it's not growing on me. I don't like it. I'm like,
it only grows on you because they forced it to grow on you.
Right.
That's his name, but
that's what I was thinking. I was like, it's like if you get a bad tattoo, it's like you have to like it, because if you don't, you're like that idiot that got a bad tattoo, like I have on my left shoulder. Anyways,
I just want to know who's responsible for Grogu.
Oh, I know, right? You know, it's Yaddle and Yoda. They were fucking.
No, I want to know who's responsible for the name. Grogu.
Oh, gotcha. Me too. Okay, so they're on the ship, and Mando tests his powers again and everything. And I really got sad at this part. I don't know if you did or not, but when he realized he was going to have to give up Baby Yoda at some point in time to go off into the world with a Jedi, even though it's not going to happen, but he got sad, and I really felt that. I was like, oh, he's like a dad and having to give up his kid. That's so sad.
I'm not sad. I'm ready for it. I'm just ready for it to be about Mando and like bounty hunting or questing, not Force-related stuff. And because I was hoping that this series would get away from our typical Star Wars stuff where Rebel, Empire, but it's like they keep delving into that kind of stuff instead of just giving us just like a separate story. Like, why can't we just have the Mandalorian doing his bounties and questing and stuff for fun things?
Right on. Sorry, I heard a noise over here. Anyways, okay, so then they land on Tython, and what did you think about the rock structure on the temple with the stone in the middle of it? What did you think about that?
The only thing that I thought was weird that it was just like in the middle of nowhere, and yet I don't know, it's just like a weird, like I'm like, this is a weird Jedi temple. It almost reminds me like Lord of the Rings, like the Watchtower of Amon-Sur, like just a weird, hey, that's just there.
Right on. Well, what I wrote down was I thought it would be more of a Jedi temple than a rock, because like if you go online and you look at stuff from Legends, Star Wars Legends, they actually have like a temple, like a Buddhist-looking type temple, and I'm like, that's way cooler. Wow, I wish they would have done that. But at the same time, I'm all like, I get it. They want to, it's cheaper, so they're probably like, we're just gonna do these rock formations with this rock in the middle. Plus, Baby Yoda on that rock is so freaking cute. I'll tell you what.
They did amp up the cuteness with him, like on the ship. Every time he said Grogu, like he's like, ah!
Yeah, and then when I wrote it down, it's a little bit later in my notes, but when he was doing this with his fingers on the little rock, while he was like, I was like, that is so freaking cute. I cannot handle Baby Yoda. I can't handle it.
It is cute.
So they land on the planet. And I loved also that, and that's going to be the thumbnail for this video, but when they were flying with the jetpack to the mountain, and Baby Yoda's hair is just all like going.
His ears are just flopping all over. Yeah,
it was so really cute. I loved that shot. I was like, oh my gosh, that is like my favorite shot of this episode so far. So then they get there. He gets him on the rock and everything, and then the Slave One shows up, and
I lost my shit
I did
when the
too.
Slave One flew by. I really, I thought it was going to be something totally. I don't know what I was thinking when, like the episode started. Like, what's going to happen here? Like, I mean, obviously, Empire people are going to show up because that's the name of the game. But when he looks over and the Slave One is flying by, I'm like, oh shit! It's going down for real.
I literally was like, oh my god, it's the Slave One.
I did.
And I wrote it in like capital letters on here on my notes and everything.
Because I love the Slave One.
Me too. Yeah.
Boba Fett is the greatest.
He's my favorite character in Star Wars. I love Boba Fett. So Boba Fett gets off the ship, and he wants his armor back. And I have to say, when they showed his face, like in the first episode, I really didn't get to see his face, I guess. But when they showed his face and he was all like Frankenstein up and everything, I was like, ew. I mean, yeah, no, that's what I mean. Ew. Like, I was like,
I noticed that previous, and it kind of makes sense if he got wrapped up in the Sarlacc pit and dragged down, like maybe, and he had to take his. I don't know. The comic books, he like uses his armor to get away, kind of thing.
Right on.
If I remember correctly. So I would assume there would be some kind of scarring.
Right on. I just wasn't like expecting him to look all gross. So I was like,
I'll tell you what, the actor though did not age well, in my opinion, that played
Tamara Morrison.
Sure.
Tamara Morrison.
You can say it a million times. I don't know.
No, I was saying it because I don't think I said it correctly the first time. But it's Tamara Morrison.
Yeah, the guy that played the clones, he did not age well. He just looks like an old, dirty man. Like a neighbor you tell your kids to stay out of the yard because you don't know if they'll ever come home again.
Right on. And he brought along with him Finnick Shand.
I love that. I love that they're bringing her because that was the big mystery, like who was in front of her body in the first season.
Mm-hmm,
so
right
I love that she was, and I love that actress. I don't know her name either. So
Ming-Na Wen.
Sure. But yeah, like I love her. She does a great job. So yeah,
right on.
It was.
So real quick about Boba Fett, I love Boba Fett. He's my favorite character, but I don't know how I feel about. Well, when the episode first started off, I didn't know how I felt about Boba Fett being back, especially in the first episode, because I was like, a small piece of me, when the original movies came out, a small piece of me loves the fact that you didn't know anything about Boba Fett. You didn't know his backstory. You didn't know anything. And then the prequel movies came out, and they gave him a backstory. Not my favorite, but at the same time, I'm all like, I still love this character. You can't take away my love from him just because I don't agree with every single thing that comes up. So I didn't know how I felt
real
about
quick,
it.
If you read the comic books about Jango Fett and Boba Fett's history, and there's some pretty great history videos on YouTube that you can watch. It actually, they do a good job. Now, I'm not a big fan of having to watch or read extra materials to catch up to where someone's at. I think the material that you're watching should hold that story pretty well. But I will say this. It is a pretty interesting story, Jango Fett and Boba Fett. So I recommend anybody who's really into the characters go back and watch their whole history and such. But anyway, on to the Mandalorian.
Okay. I don't like seeing him without his armor either. I wrote that down. I liked it better with his armor on than his armor off. Just because, like, without his armor, he looks more like a Jedi than he does a Mandalorian, and or like he looks like a clone trooper. And I personally liked it better with his armor on than off.
Yeah, me too.
So then the Empire shows up,
and I don't like that he's bald. I'm like,
I'm not a fan of that either.
I don't know if the actor himself is bald, but I'm like, oh, he is. Okay, well. CGI or glue a toupee on this man because I don't like him as a bald Boba Fett.
Right on. So then the Empire shows up. They show up and they send down their little ships and everything. And then they just have this big old shootout with stormtroopers. A small piece of me was like when the first group of stormtroopers came out of the ship, and then the second group came out. I'm like, where are these stormtroopers coming from? This isn't, a Winnebago where you just get people just coming out of it. It's a ship. You send them all out at once. You don't. So that was weird to me.
That was weird. And then the one thing that really kind of annoyed me was when Mando kept trying to get through Yoda's force field to grab him.
Yeah.
Like, is he not learning that he can't do it? It's just gonna like thunder him back a ways.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But no, go ahead, because I'm gonna explain the back, like what I liked about the fight scene.
Oh, I was just gonna say about that whole force field. I was like, okay, you did it the first time and it didn't work. Then you did it the second time. I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe you thought it would work. But at the third time, I'm like, hey, yo, dude, get a clue. It's not working.
And the second time knocked him out for a good portion of the first little fight with the stormtroopers.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. So you were gonna say about the fight.
The fight scene, what I really loved about it was that Mando got knocked out, because then it gave, like in the previous episodes, I've kind of gotten tired of Mando being the like savior complex that they've given him in these episodes. So I do really like that in this particular episode. It seemed more like Boba Fett and Ming Chung Pan, whatever her name is.
Fennec Shad was the character. Fennec, you just call her Fennec. Was the character.
That sounds like the Hunger Games guy.
Yeah, it's not spelled the same, but it does sound like the same.
So, I like that they were like the main fight, like battle scene people, rather than it just be Mando taking everybody out. Although I will say I hate that they make stormtroopers these inept fighting force that can't do anything.
Right.
Like they go to an academy, they train as units to fight, and they're just terrible. They're like, I feel like kids that play paintball or airsoft would do better than stormtroopers, and I think it does a disservice to the whole storyline when they direct these stormtroopers to be super terrible at combat. So anyway,
I know, I totally agree with that. It's a joke that's been played out too long, and it's like, listen, it's not funny anymore. Like it's the Empire wouldn't be the Empire with so many inept soldiers. Like that's not how it works. Like I got it. Your joke was funny for years and years, but the joke is over. Like
right.
Like so. And one of my favorite. I did like seeing Boba Fett smash all their armor, like them in the face with his little Bantha club or whatever. But my favorite shot from this fight sequence was when Fennec, when she jumps off the rock and then she turns around and she's like choo-choo-choo and everything, and then she like does a little tuck and roll on the ground. That was my favorite shot. I really liked that a lot.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember that specific part, but my favorite part of the whole scene for me was when she kicks the rock over and it's rolling and there's a stormtrooper and all of a sudden you just see
yeah, I laugh.
I don't know why I laugh so hard at that.
Right, and I love that. Go ahead.
It took him down the way like a kid running and then just trips and like face plants on the ground.
That's so true.
I don't know why you just can't help laugh, but you do feel bad at the same time. But you're just
I laughed. And then also the stormtrooper with the big gun. I'm all like, do you honestly think your big gun is? You're not taking it out. Get out of the way, dum dum. Like, come on. So. Sorry, I just want to take a sip. So then I'm curious to see what you say about this. But then they destroy the Razor Crest. And I don't know about you. I gasped. Like I was like, oh, when it happened. And
I was so annoyed that they destroyed the Razor Crest.
I wrote down. I was like, Marlon's not gonna like that.
It's just I don't understand. Like yeah, they did it, so maybe Boba or Mando couldn't follow them, but you have this Imperial. I don't even know what class it is, but it's out there it had to have scanned Boba Fett's ship in the area, right? So they had to have known there was a second ship. And you have a tracker on the Razor Crest. Why wouldn't you leave the Razor Crest intact so you could then follow, like, track where Mando is, like, following your ship? Where now Mando's on the planet, they know they didn't kill him. As far as they know, he's still alive. Then why would you think that if he's still alive, he's not going to come for the Baby Yoda? Why not keep his ship intact so you can track where it's going? Anyway, that just makes sense to me. But I was very upset when I saw the Razor Crest blow up. I was like, this is bullshit. I will say this though, if you've ever seen the movie Battlefield Earth, the Razor Crest kind of looked like the weird John Travolta alien dropship thing.
Right on. It kind of does. And now that you say that, it kind of does remind me of that. I think they destroyed the Razor Crest because they knew they were going to. He was all like, "We're going to get Baby Yoda," and then because we destroyed the Razor Crest, he can't follow us. And I also think that I don't think they can detect the Slave One because of the way it is. I don't remember if they have something on there that blinds them from ships detecting it or whatnot.
Maybe I don't remember.
So then the black stormtroopers come down, the robot stormtroopers.
Well, let's just say this. Then you have the really amazing moment where Boba Fett shows up and he's got his armor on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it was not flattering to actor man's body type. Let's just say Boba Fett's got some pudge spots.
It's fine. He does have.
I'm surprised the armor still fits.
Like it was too big for Oliphant in episode 1, and it's too small for Tamora Morrison.
Too tiny.
And then when he used his rocket, and then he was all like, "I was aiming for the other one." I was like, "Why would you aim for the other one, the lower one? You obviously."
Yeah, they threw that line in. They made Boba Fett seem stupid because the move that he did, which if you go back and watch, he does aim for the other one, and it actually hits the wrong one. But you'd think Boba Fett is this trained killer. He'd want to take out both ships. And what he did makes the most sense.
Right on. So, I'm just writing a question down. All right, so then they take Baby Yoda. And I don't know about you, but I was like, no. I thought he was going to stop them from taking Baby Yoda, but they didn't and everything. And I was like, no, not Baby Yoda. And he's all like flying up, and he's all like, and everything. I got sad. I even put down a sad face on my notes. So then they go back to the planet where Cara Dune is on, and he's talking to Cara Dune, and she's now a marshal for the New Republic and everything. Good for her. And he's all like, we need to bust out Mayfield, which is Bill Burr's character from season 1. And she's all like, I can't do that. I'm a marshal now. And then I love how when he's all like, they took the kid, and her like facial expression was just like, what? And everything. So I'm excited to see her help him break the rules and everything. She's only been a marshal for like a hot minute, so she's like, oh, I can break the rules a little bit right now and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be fun to see Bill Burr back on there. I'm curious to see if they bring back the other 3 characters that he got trapped with or whatnot.
Yeah, his little team.
And then, so the episode ends with on the Star Destroyer with Grogu using his force powers in that cell, which I thought was awesome. I loved seeing him use his force powers and being all like, don't fuck with me kind of thing. And then he's all like all sleepy like, and then Moff Gideon was all like with the lightsabers all like, oh, you like this and everything, it's too big for you, little kid, and everything. And
that part was dumb. The whole saber part was just to show off I feel like it was just to show off the saber to people.
Oh, so cool though.
And I thought that part was dumb. Just like the cell he's in, what kind of room is that? That's not even a good interrogation room. It
It's
looked
this.
like
It looks like the
it,
cell from the first movie with Leia
yeah,
in it.
terrible. That's not a cell. That it looks stupid. It's not even where you would keep like maybe a huddle of prisoners that you were going to bring in and tag them or something. But it had like a bench that looked like something Jesus is handing out fish and bread on to the masses.
Well,
And
it's supposed to be uncomfortable. That cell didn't look comfortable at all, and that's the point.
it just doesn't look like a cell. It looks like a storage room. That's what like I'm like, man, they could make it look like put bunk beds. Bunk beds aren't comfortable. Even in 2020, bunk beds are terrible beds. The
You're
military
so
uses
silly.
them to torture their soldiers.
You're so silly. Okay, so what was your favorite part of this episode?
So my favorite part, as far as visually, I can't really say specifically a part, like a scene, but any shot with Slave One, they did a fantastic job flying. Like just the way Slave One looks. You know, as fans, we didn't get a whole lot of it in the movies. And one of my favorite parts in the movies is when Slave One, Jango Fett's flying it through Episode 2 and fighting Obi-Wan's ship. So I really like watching it fly around and stuff. So I'd say probably that's probably the most memorable scene for me. Now, my favorite part, as far as what sticks out as just funny, like, is that Rock crushing that dude. I laugh at that in my mind. It puts a smile on my face because I see that dude just running and like roll over. He does a total rollover because that thing's just screwed him up.
That's funny. My favorite part was Slave One. As soon as it showed up, like it was the only part of the episode where I literally like out loud was like, "Oh my God, the Slave One!" So I'm like, this has to be my favorite part because I was like, when it showed up, and even when it was flying up to the Star Destroyer, it was just so good. So yeah, Slave One is my favorite part. What are you looking forward in the last 2 episodes of this season? What are you looking forward to?
I really hope that I would like to see some more space combat stuff. We've seen tons of ground fighting, like you know, you got Mando just like fighting off guys or whatever, shooting at him and stuff. But we haven't really seen a whole lot of space battle stuff. I mean, the Razor Crest running from X-Wings, but I don't really count that as battling. It's just more or less he's outgunned. So, you know, I'd like to see maybe a small group of ships approach that Imperial. I don't want to call it a Star Destroyer because it's a different.
It's a Star Destroyer. Just call it a Star Destroyer.
All right, we'll call it Star Destroyer, but it has its own class name. But anyway, so I'd like to see maybe a small group of ships attack it, including the Slave One, and they're holding off while Mando goes in and with a small group and tries to rescue Baby Yoda. But I don't know if that's going to exactly happen on the next episode, maybe the final episode of the season.
I'm looking forward personally to seeing them get on that Star Destroyer and save Baby Yoda. Like I'm all like, how is this possible? Like, what's going on here? What's going to happen? And who else are they going to bring? Is it just going to be the 5 of them? You know, Cara Dune, Mando, Boba Fett, Finnick, and then did I say Cara Dune? Yeah. And Bill Burr. I'm like, is it just going to be those 5 or whatnot? It's going to be so good. So good. So my last question is, who answered the call of Baby Yoda? I know we talked about this before, but I'm like, who do you think answered the call? Make a prediction. Yeah.
I want to say, I hope it's an older, more wise, what's Ezra's last name? Bridger.
Ezra Bridger, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Ezra Bridger. Just because I don't really have I can't think of any other Jedi that survived Order 66 that isn't terribly, you know, like if we hadn't already seen Ahsoka Tano, maybe I would say, oh, Ahsoka Tano is going to show up and answer the call. But yeah, I'll say
If it is Ezra Bridger, who would you want to play Ezra Bridger?
Ooh. Man, I haven't even thought of that.
Well, a lot of people are saying online, they're saying like they're like fan casting or whatever, but Rohal Kohali, I don't know if that's how you say his name. He was on iZombie, and he was on the latest season of The Haunting of Bly Manor. He was the I think he's Indian.
What's his name?
It's Rohal Kohali.
Rohal?
Yeah, like Rahul.
Rohal Kali?
Yeah.
And how old is this guy?
I have no idea.
He looks okay. I actually, if you've seen, there's an older dude. He's on The Expanse. He's actually going to be he's the antagonist. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but
I know who you're talking about.
I like the way he looks, and
yeah, he'd be great too.
It might just be because I'm, a big fan of The Expanse, but and I just saw him, but what I've seen of him in The Expanse. His acting's pretty good, so I was hoping, I'm hoping that he would be. Maybe I'd cast him. I'm just gonna say he'd be my cast choice if I had to.
I'm gonna say I think that who is gonna answer the call. I think it's gonna be Ezra Bridger, but I wish it was Luke, just because.
You said that last time.
I know, but because
it wouldn't be a bad choice.
Well, they're gonna pick Ezra Bridger because Dave Filoni's involved, and he's all like, "I need to get my characters in here," so of course it's gonna be Ezra Bridger.
Mm-hmm.
So, Marlon, that is our breakdown/review of The Mandalorian, Episode 6, The Tragedy. I looked it up and everything. That's the name of it. And, what would you give it out of 10? 1 out of 10?
Probably a 9.5.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 9. Or a 10. I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah,
all right, you guys. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Go ahead. I was just going to say there's a few things that I would change, but that's it.
Right on. All right, you guys. Well, go ahead and tell us what you guys thought about this episode. Did you love it just as much as we did? Because we loved it a lot. You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. Marlon, you won't mind either.
I won't mind.
All right. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys on the next Mandalorian review. You guys have a good week. Bye.